The brutal rise and fall of Queen Jezebel. Part 1. The opening. Planting the seeds of mystery. Welcome, seekers of ancient truths, to a journey illuminated by flickering candlelight. Tonight, we turn our gaze to a name that echoes with both allure and infamy, a figure whose very mention conjures images of power, defiance, and a spectacular, brutal demise. We speak of Jezebel, the Phoenician princess who became Queen of Israel, a woman whose story is less a gentle whisper of faith and more a thunderous clash of kingdoms, idols, and unwavering conviction. Was she merely a villain, a symbol of pagan corruption, or a misunderstood queen fighting for her heritage in a foreign land? As the shadows dance and the pages of Scripture unfurl, we promise to unearth the hidden layers of her narrative, dissecting the forces that shaped her rise and the prophecies that foretold her catastrophic fall. Prepare to confront the raw, untamed spirit of a woman who dared to challenge the very foundations of Yahweh's chosen people. Part 2. The Body. A journey of deep discovery. A. The historical and cultural context. A kingdom divided. To comprehend Jezebel, we must first understand the turbulent world into which she arrived. The United Kingdom of Israel, once glorious under David and Solomon, had fractured. The northern kingdom, Israel, was plagued by political instability and a perilous drift away from the worship of Yahweh. It was a land ripe for external influence, particularly from its wealthy and sophisticated neighbor, Phoenicia. Sidon, Jezebel's homeland, was a dominant maritime power, renowned for its trade, advanced culture, and critically, its polytheistic religion, centered around the worship of Baal and Asherah. It was into this volatile setting that Ahab, king of Israel, entered a strategic marriage alliance with Ethbaal, king of the Sidonians, solidifying the pact through his union with Ethbaal's daughter, Jezebel. This was not merely a political arrangement, it was a cultural collision of seismic proportions. Jezebel did not arrive in Israel as a convert, but as a devout follower of her ancestral gods, fully intending to bring her religious practices with her. The stage was set for an epic confrontation between two irreconcilable worldviews, the monotheistic covenant of Yahweh and the fertility cults of Baal. This tension would not merely simmer, it would erupt into a fiery conflict that would scorch the very soul of Israel. B. Decoding the Scripture, a queen's fierce devotion and defiance. The biblical account of Jezebel is found primarily in the books of 1 and 2 Kings, portraying her through the lens of a fierce adversary to Yahweh and his prophets. Her introduction immediately signals conflict. Ahab, son of Omri, did more evil in the eyes of the Lord than any of those before him. He not only considered it trivial to commit the sins of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, but he also married Jezebel, daughter of Ethbaal, king of the Sidonians, and began to serve Baal and worship him. 1 Kings 16:33-1. This passage establishes her as the catalyst for Ahab's profound apostasy. Jezebel's actions are presented as aggressive and systematic. She actively promoted Baal worship, establishing temples and maintaining hundreds of prophets of Baal and Asherah at her own expense. 1 Kings 18:19. This wasn't passive adherence. It was an assertive religious campaign aimed at supplanting Yahwism. Her zeal is further highlighted by her ruthless persecution of Yahweh's prophets, leading to their slaughter, prompting Obadiah to hide 100 of them in caves. 1 Kings 18:4. The most iconic confrontation, however, unfolds on Mount Carmel, where Elijah challenges Jezebel's prophets in a dramatic test of deities. Her defeat here, though not directly her own, represented a significant blow to her religious agenda. Beyond religious zeal, Jezebel is depicted as a woman of immense power and cunning, particularly evident in the infamous episode of Naboth's vineyard. When Naboth refuses to sell his ancestral land to King Ahab, Jezebel orchestrates a malicious plot. She writes letters in Ahab's name, seals them with his seal, and arranges for Naboth to be falsely accused of blasphemy and stoned to death. So Ahab can seize the vineyard. 1 Kings 21. This act reveals a queen who would stop at nothing to assert her will, demonstrating a disregard for justice and the Mosaic law. Is this the way you act as king over Israel? Get up and eat. Cheer up. I'll get you the vineyard of Naboth, the Jezreelite. 1 Kings 21-7. Her words reveal a woman utterly confident in her ability to manipulate power. C. The hidden theological meaning, the clash of covenants. Jezebel's story transcends mere historical intrigue. It serves as a profound theological narrative about covenant fidelity and apostasy. Her presence in Israel represents the ultimate test of the nation's commitment to Yahweh. The Mosaic covenant explicitly warned against intermarriage with foreign peoples and the adoption of their gods, precisely because it led to spiritual corruption. Jezebel embodies this warning, acting as the primary agent of Israel's deviation. Her narrative highlights the constant tension between exclusive monotheism and syncretistic paganism. The worship of Baal, a Canaanite storm and fertility god, promised immediate agricultural prosperity and sensuous rituals, appealing to a people dependent on rain and harvests. Yahwism, in contrast, demanded strict adherence to moral law, loyalty to an invisible God, and trust in his divine provision. Jezebel's promotion of Baal, therefore, struck at the very heart of Israel's identity and their unique relationship with Yahweh. Furthermore, Jezebel becomes a prophetic archetype. Her brutal end, foretold by Elijah himself, 1 Kings 21-23, and graphically detailed in 2 Kings 9, serves as a stark divine judgment against idolatry, injustice, and defiance of God's commands. Her demise is not merely the fall of a queen, but the symbolic purging of pagan influence from the heart of Israel, a reaffirmation of Yahweh's sovereignty and his unwavering demand for exclusive worship. D. Controversies and theories. A revaluation of Jezebel? While the biblical portrayal is unequivocally negative, some modern interpretations offer a more nuanced view of Jezebel, challenging the monolithic villain label. From a secular historical perspective, Jezebel could be seen as a strong, assertive queen who, far from being evil, was simply dedicated to her own culture and religion. In an age of strategic royal marriages, it would have been expected for a queen to promote her ancestral gods. Her actions, such as building temples to Baal, might have been an attempt to integrate her Phoenician heritage within her new kingdom, a common practice in the ancient Near East. Could her persecution of the prophets be viewed as a queen protecting her people's traditions from what she perceived as a disruptive foreign cult, Yahwism? From her perspective, Yahweh's prophets, particularly Elijah, were zealots, undermining the stability of the kingdom by challenging the established religious practices she sought to maintain. The Naboth's vineyard incident, while morally reprehensible, could be seen as an example of an autocratic queen exercising royal prerogative, albeit brutally, within the political norms of her time, rather than solely as an act of pure malice. However, such reinterpretations face significant challenges when weighed against the biblical text, which consistently frames her actions as inherently evil and in direct opposition to God's will. The prophetic voice within Scripture provides a divine commentary that transcends purely human, political, or cultural explanations. Ultimately, while acknowledging her strength and influence, the theological narrative remains focused on her role as an instrument of apostasy and a symbol of spiritual rebellion against the covenant God of Israel. Part 3. The conclusion, eternal echoes. Jezebel, a name synonymous with audacious power and ultimate downfall, offers us far more than a simple tale of good versus evil. We have traversed the landscape of her brutal rise, from her strategic marriage and aggressive promotion of Baal worship to her ruthless manipulation in the affair of Naboth's vineyard. We have witnessed how her story serves as a potent theological declaration of the consequences of covenant infidelity and the ever-present conflict between divine truth and human idolatry. Her ultimate, gruesome end, a stark fulfillment of prophecy, stands as a testament to the unyielding justice of God. What, then, is the enduring echo of Jezebel's story in our own flickering present? Is it a warning against the seduction of power, the allure of false gods, or the dangers of spiritual compromise? Or does it also challenge us to consider the complexities of cultural identity and religious conviction in a world perpetually grappling with differing truths. Perhaps the most profound reflection we can take away is the timeless struggle for the soul of humanity, a battle fought not just on ancient battlefields, but within the silent chambers of every human heart, where the choice between allegiance to the divine and the worship of fleeting earthly desires continues to unfold.